Well, Mitt Romney's campaign is starting strong the month of February with a decisive win in Nevada. Romney is already turning his attention to President Obama and away from his GOP rivals.
Let me ask you, our vision for the future could not be more different than his. President Obama will grow government and amass more trillion-dollar deficits. I will not just slow the growth of government, I will cut it. I will not just freeze. I will not just freeze government's share of the total economy, I will reduce it. And without raising taxes, I will finally balance the American budget.
Bob Cusack is managing editor of The Hill and joins us live today. Bob, good to see you. I have the Fox News entrance polls here. They're very interesting. Mitt Romney won in the state of Nevada with support across just about every group of voters, including very conservative voters, strong Tea Party supporters, and evangelical Christians. Might that help dispel concern within the party, especially among those who have been somewhat skeptical of his candidacy and his conservative credentials?
I mean, to some degree, I think it will, Greg. But, he did pretty well here in 2008 in Nevada. So he hasn't had a major win. But the good news is he is certainly closing in on the nomination. He has the momentum. He has the money. The map looks very good for him in February. We're not having a debate a day. So that doesn't help Newt Gingrich. So that's the good news for Newt Gingrich. The bad news is President Obama's numbers are looking better because the unemployment figure has gone down, at least on Friday.
Indeed. Now, Romney is a strong favorite in, you mentioned the month of February is good for him, Maine, Colorado, Arizona, and Michigan. Seems to be leading there in those states. He's tied in Minnesota. But Newt Gingrich has a strategy, and he laid some of it out the other evening at his news conference. He is counting on the March 6th Super Tuesday, winning Georgia, Tennessee, Oklahoma, then the next week, Alabama and Mississippi, and then he plans to win Texas in April. What do you think of that strategy?
Well, it's a decent strategy because he's going to do pretty well in the South. But how he gets there, I mean, he's going to be limping into Super Tuesday. So can he win those states, some of those states? Surely. But there's so many obstacles for him. And the base does seem to be reluctantly coalescing behind Romney. And the lack of debates really hurts Gingrich because he doesn't have the organization or the money that Romney has.
Yeah, he does have money woes, apparently. You know, some Republican leaders claim that Gingrich's campaign is now running on the fumes of malice. In fact, Dick Armey, former majority leader in the House, who's a leading figure in the Tea Party, said this, quote, "I think he's digressed into a state of taking a second-rate campaign and turning it into a first-rate vendetta." And again, this is a Tea Party figure here. What do you make of that?
True. Well, I mean, Dick Armey also, should be noted, that tried to topple Gingrich as Speaker. So Armey and Gingrich are not the best of friends. But Craig, this is going to go on for a while. I mean, Romney cannot formally clinch this thing based upon the delegates and how the Republican Party does it until April at the earliest. So if Gingrich wants to stay on for a while, he can make the case, well, wait a minute, he hasn't clinched it. I'm in until the convention. Do I think he'll be in all the way to the convention? I doubt it. But this is going into the spring. There's no doubt about it.
What about Rick Santorum? I mentioned that Romney was leading in a bunch of February states, and he's tied in Minnesota. The guy he's tied with is Rick Santorum, who actually has a statistical 2-point lead there in the latest polling data. What do you make of Santorum's candidacy now?
Well, he just hasn't captured that momentum. I mean, he had it so much after Iowa. He's done decently in the debates, but he hasn't caught fire. And he doesn't have the money. He also doesn't have a huge backer like Gingrich does. Las Vegas, Sheldon Adelson putting in millions of dollars for Gingrich in a super PAC. So Santorum is hurt by that, and he's hurt by this just lack of momentum where, I thought he was going to catch on fire a little bit and possibly going into South Carolina. Wasn't able to do it. So it's going to be tough for Santorum.
Bob Cusack, managing editor of The Hill. Good to see you, Bob. Thanks.
Thanks.